What's going on, everybody? Today we have a brand new tactic here on the channel. It is a 3-4-1-2 that ended up testing out with Atalanta as well as Juventus, and it did absolutely fantastic. And honestly, it is pretty meta for what it allows you to do. It is an absolute trophy machine. Now, result-wise, with Atalanta, as we can see now on screen, we ended up winning a treble. We won the league on 94 points. We won the Champions League with Atalanta over Bayern Munich. We also won the Coppa Italia. When looking at the data, this tactic offers just ultra consistency. You're going to be scoring between 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 goals a game, but barely conceding whatsoever. They averaged 0.53 conceded per game, which is pretty darn good defensively. Yes, Atalanta is kind of like a lower elite type tier type side, but so is Juventus as well right now, as they both really aren't at their peak power like an Inter is. But when looking at the contributions for overall stats, we got Nicolo Zaniolo and Gianluca Scamacca both having 24 goals each. You got Cannavaro with 18, Matteo Retegui with 13, Mario Pasalic with 10. Assist-wise, we got Matteo Ruggeri with 29, Raul Bellanova with 17, and Davide Zappacosta also with 17. When it comes to Juve, they also won the treble. They won the league on 84 points, won the Champions League over Man City, and won the Coppa Italia as well. And just like Atalanta, Juve were averaging around that 2.5 and above mark, doing very, very well. And once again, averaging a little over half a goal per game. So very, very good. And as you can tell, wins you a boatload of trophies. When it comes to stats overall, we got Dusan Vlahovic leading the way with 31 goals. Mr. Milik, he had 26. Toon Koopmeiners with 21. And Nico Gonzalez with 12. Assist-wise, you got Weston McKennie with 18. Cambiasso with 18. Koopmeiners also with 18. Then you got Timmy Weah with 14, Milik with 10, and Douglas Luiz with 10 as well. So before we get into the tactic on FM, we're going to break it down here on Tactical Board. Now, this is how the 3-4-1-2 ends up lining up. It is, in my opinion, a pretty solid all-around tactic. It is kind of aggressive as well, but as we can see, if you have a pretty solid back line like both clubs do have, you're going to do well. So definitely make sure to keep in mind, and I'll reiterate this once we get to the tactic itself, that you essentially are building into this system over time. If you are starting with an Atalanta, Juve, that sort of level of club, or even a mid-table type club, you're going to be able to rock this and do absolutely amazing with it off the rip. However, if you are a lower tier type side or relegation fodder type side, you're going to have to build up into the system. It's not just going to be super easy plug and play. You're going to have to build into the system with the right players. And this is a fairly easy system to build into as well. We got the 2 advanced forwards up top, the shadow striker behind them. The defense midfields are Segundo Volante as well as a ball-winning midfielder. Then we got wingbacks out wide, and then a flat back 3 of ball-playing defenders with a sweeper keeper. Now, with the front 3, because this essentially acts as a front 3 with having 2 advanced forwards and a shadow striker, you are going to have the shadow striker coming up in between them, and it's going to be like 3 pretty close-knit strikers. However, these strikers are instructed to kind of move into channels, run from position, create some space for this shadow striker to move into, but they're also instructed to mark specific position, which they will be marking the opposing center backs, the left center back and the right center back. And by doing so, they can win the ball off and move it to the shadow striker. He'll move in, get the ball, either go for a shot himself or move it off to the other striker who will be open, or the striker that ends up winning that ball will then go on a run for the shadow striker to play the ball into. It's a pretty overpowered way of doing things with a 1-2 up top type deal, but then you also have the Segundo Volante coming up and contributing. You have the ball-in midfielder coming up and contributing. Then your width is supplied by your wingbacks. They will be pretty creative, as we saw with the numbers from Ruggeri, as well as like Cambiasso and Weston McKennie. Then you got your flat back 3 of the ball playing defenders. They will also move up for you. But overall, just from the look of things, you can tell there is a lot of options, a lot of scoring options. You're going to get a lot of goals from different areas. Obviously, your main goal scoring threats are going to be your advanced forwards and your shadow striker, but do not be surprised Your Segundo Volante and ball winning midfielder are chipping in with goals as well as assists. And those wingbacks, they'll chip in some goals here and there, but they are definitely going to be some of your more creative players within the side. So if you have some pretty creative wingbacks, this is definitely going to be a tactic for you. Alright, so here we are with the tactic itself. It is Gormy's 3-4-1-2 Forza. That is going to be the file name that you are looking for in my Discord, which I'll be linking down below in the description. That is where you can download the tactic from the download section of the Discord. If you do not have Discord, definitely feel free to just copy the tactic on over if you are on console or you straight up just do not have Discord. But I reiterated this a little bit earlier. I know some people just skip straight to the tactic. If you are expecting to just plug this in and play with anyone and expect success immediately, it's not going to happen. You're going to have to build into this sort of system. And once you do, you're going to be absolutely amazing. If you're plugging it in with a mid-table to the elite tier type side, you're going to be doing really, really good off the rip. But if you are a relegation type fighter side, you're going to have to kind of build up over a few seasons to get to the point to where you're doing what a Juve and Atalanta did with this test. But now here we get into things. You got the advanced forwards on attack up top, shadow striker on attack behind them, Segundo Volante on support with a ball winning midfielder on support in defensive midfield. You got wingbacks on attack out wide, a flat back three of ball playing defenders on defend, and a sweep keeper on defend. For the advanced forwards on attack, they have dribble more, shoot more often, tackle harder, and mark specific position, which is marking the opposing center backs. So the left striker is marking the opposing right center back, and the right striker is marking the opposing left center back. And how you end up doing that, for those of you that do not know, you simply just click on the role itself, go to instructions, and it says mark specific position. So the left striker will be DCR, and the right striker will be DCL. We then have the shadow striker. It has crosses aimed at center, shoot more often, roam from position, and tackle harder. The Segundo Volante on support has dribble more, move into channels, and tackle harder. Ball winning midfielder on support has dribble more and tackle harder. The wingbacks on attack both have cross more often, crosses aimed at center, dribble more, stay wider, tackle harder. The outside ball playing defenders on defend have dribble more, stay wider, and tackle harder. That central ball playing defender on defend has dribble more and tackle harder. And the sweep keeper on defend has take fewer risks. With this tactic, I ended up doing it with a balanced mentality. I highly suggest that you start with the balanced mentality and then just gradually move up to positive or attacking throughout your matches. I'm starting to think that balanced is definitely just the way to go with tactics. And then once you are in a match, if you need to go positive and or attacking to get some goals back, that is when you do so. Now when we are in possession, fairly narrow attacking width, we focus play through the middle, being that we have a lot of numbers through the middle. We play out from the defense. We have worked the ball into the box and low crosses in the final third, shorter passing directness and slightly higher tempo. When in transition, we counter press and counter, distributing quickly to the center backs by rolling the ball out. When out of possession, high press line of engagement, higher defensive line, and more often trigger press. When it comes to the level of ability needed to play this tactic, I think that you can play it with just about everyone. However, if you are a relegation candidate type side, then you are going to have to build into this system over 2 to 3 seasons, and then you will probably be at the level that Juve and Atalanta were competing at with this tactic, as they did not only win the Serie A, they won the Champions League as well as the Coppa Italia. So they did very, very well with this tactic, and I know that all your sides can as well, especially if you build into the system perfectly. Now, when it comes to tactical tweaks, there's only one that I would suggest for literally all the different roles except for ball and midfielder, because I believe it already has it on there. And that is, if you feel you are conceding way too many yellow cards, way too many red cards, go ahead and just take tackle harder off on all your roles. If you do that and you feel, okay, yeah, this feels a little bit better, then just go ahead and leave it off. That is the only change that I would suggest making if you feel you're conceding too many cards. But there we have it for today's tactic. If you enjoyed and wish to give it a go, once again, I'll be linking my Discord down below in the description. That is where you can download the tactic from within the download section of the Discord. And if you have enjoyed today's video, please feel free, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribing is 100% free, so when I hit the sub button, right now I'll be popping up some of my most recent videos for you guys to check out if you wish to do so. Until next time, have a good one. Bye-bye.